Hey guys, welcome to day 5 of our 2019 digital launch. Today we're talking about two pretty awesome topics, sketching and visualize. Let's get right into it. Cue the intro. Oh wait, that's my job. I'll be back.
Jesse, you probably want your script.
It's in the stars. Hasn't it always been? As far back as humans go, we've been looking up. Our drive to explore our universe has always pushed technology forward. The Canada-France-Hawaii telescope has been giving us clear glimpses into the cosmos for over 40 years. But technology changes a lot in 40 years. So when it's time for a redesign, you need a system that has performance, attention to detail, a full design ecosystem, and offers the latest innovations. Welcome to the 2019 SOLIDWORKS release, presented to you by CAD Dimensions.
I know what you're thinking. What about sketching, right? Sketching is the bread and butter for creation in SOLIDWORKS, so it only makes sense that it gets some pretty awesome enhancements every year. 2019 is no exception, and I'm pretty excited to tell you about it. This year we get to look at some old tools with new tricks and a brand new sketch function. Let's get started. We'll start by revamping a classic. The trim tool has been given 2 new options in its property manager. The first new option is to convert all trimmed entities into construction geometry. The other option allows you to ignore construction geometry when trimming sketch entities. If you've ever been burned by accidentally trimming a center line that was being used by a dimension, then you understand how exciting these checkboxes are. This next enhancement has a variety of uses, but I'm just going to throw it out there. It's what surface modelers have been waiting for. Yep, you guessed it. Project Curve just got a whole lot easier to use. It now supports sketching with multiple closed contours and bidirectional projections. This overhaul allows us to complete this example in one feature, which would have previously required 8 separate sketches and 8 projected curves. That's a significant increase in efficiency. Now I want to talk about a new tool available in 2019. This tool is called the slicing tool, and it's able to generate an array of planes and sketches that intersect or slice the current model. This intersection where the model is sliced will be complete with a sketch of that cross-sectional area and a plane. This tool is able to slice solid models, surface models, and even mesh models, and this can aid in turning an imported mesh or surface into a solid model. Let's turn the tables a bit and talk about the future of sketching with SOLIDWORKS. We saw in 2018 the implementation of features for touch workstations. Well, with SOLIDWORKS 2019, these features are getting even better and are allowing designers to utilize the most cutting-edge tech to create. Windows touch devices can now use the Microsoft Surface dial within the SOLIDWORKS interface to pan, zoom, and rotate your model. Gesture sketching is more intuitive than ever and now recognizes hand-drawn splines, slots, and ellipses. Once you've drawn your sketch entities, you can keep your stylus out because you no longer need to switch to the dimension tool. Simply selecting a sketch entity and writing the dimension will apply that value. SOLIDWORKS interprets handwriting to create full driving dimensions for your sketch entities. As you can see, sketching has been pampered this year, and it's all because of you. SOLIDWORKS 2019 will make sure that your designs transition from your brain to the modeling environment as quickly and easily as possible.
Hey, want to hear the most annoying sound in the world? This is the face of a man who's had it up to here with unwanted noise. It just so happens this is also the face of a man who's had it up to here with unwanted noise. Why am I smiling, you might ask? That's because my unwanted noise issues have been resolved. Noise is a thing of the past as of SOLIDWORKS Visualize 2018 SP3. Now we have access to the all-new AI denoiser. Turn this option on to engage a smart filter that targets noise in your images. This is perfect for interior scenes, dark environments, transparencies, and shadowy areas. The AI denoiser results in noise levels that you would normally see if you had rendered the same image with 10 times the number of passes. That's right, with SOLIDWORKS Visualize 2019, you may be rendering up to 10 times faster. And that's just the start of the amazing enhancements that you'll see in Visualize 2019. Earlier this season, I converted my motorcycle from a mechanical clutch system to a hydraulic one. In the process of doing that, I jumped a wire across the clutch switch and I zip-tied the bundled wires up until I order a connector to solder in. And while I don't recommend disabling any of the safety equipment on your motorcycle, at least it got me going long enough to get a connector. The only downside is that the bundle of wires covers my speedometer, so I can't see how fast I'm going. At least that's what I tell the nice officers. Anyway, I was out riding the other day and I realized that for some reason I liked it. I like the imperfection of it. It feels hand done. As engineers, we aim to dot every I and cross every T, but humans can be sloppy. Life has personality, and great renderings can too. Perfectly rendered scenes often feel lifeless, almost sterile. And while that might be okay for the CAD model, rarely would I want my renderings to be described that way. I've recommended the technique of adding imperfections to our renderings for years now, but frankly, it can be difficult and time-consuming to execute. At least, it used to be. In this example, I wanted some scattered hardware alongside the sprockets. This meant that I had to jump through a number of hoops to create a SOLIDWORKS assembly that looked like someone tossed some hardware on the table. It's surprisingly difficult to do. SOLIDWORKS isn't designed for chaos. In Visualize Pro 2019, our lives got a lot easier. Visualize has brought forth the physics engine that's been lurking in the background. All we have to do is add in the bits we want. You'll notice that the model tree is much more user-friendly this year as well. We see cross-highlighting from the graphics area and a quick drag and drop grouping. And a simple setup in the physics section is all we need from here. Just tell Visualize what moves and what doesn't. Visualize 2019 makes it easy to copy and paste components, so I'll duplicate a few of these to get a handful of hardware. I'll move them over to where I want them and let them fly. I actually like to start with my components interfering so they scatter a bit more, but Visualize also includes an earthquake mode if you want to jiggle the floor to further the scattering. You'll also notice that we have quick visibility access from the tree as well. If you're a vehicle designer, you'll see that we now have the full version of the vehicle dynamics back, which is just insanely cool. Franco and I have been trying to create a rendered, vehicle-based simulation video for the past, 7 years, so maybe we have a shot at getting it done. Using Ctrl-C and Ctrl-V to copy and paste in the tree also reminds me that keyboard shortcuts are now customizable in Visualize 2019. Some of the common shortcuts have been set to simpler keystrokes as well. If you missed my Model Everything video highlighting my favorite shortcuts in Visualize, I'll put a link to that in the description so you can catch up. I mentioned earlier when we were talking about breadcrumbs that I really like keyboard shortcuts, but I really do think they're a valuable skill to pick up. Now at this point you're probably thinking to yourselves, well, Jesse clearly pulled some strings to get the good enhancements this year, but I'm not even done. This year you'll find that all decals will import and their mapping is adjustable with greater flexibility. Greater consistency across platforms has actually been improved for Visualize 2019 in other ways as well. We can now use the Nvidia material definition language in physical-based rendering materials. This means we have more appearance options at our fingertips, and if you're working with other systems, everything looks the same. Speaking of Nvidia, Nvidia has been developing a new virtual environment system called the Holodeck. I know, it even sounds futuristic. This system allows for incredible, rendered 3D virtual interaction with your designs. You'll be happy to know that Visualize is already supporting exports to this platform. Even if you're not ready for VR yet, when the time comes, the development team at Visualize has been making sure that they're ready when you are. To finish this up, let's get back to decals. Decals aren't just for stickers anymore. Visualize Pro now supports animated and video decals. Seemingly every product these days has a display of some kind, and you can now provide an accurate visual of what that would look like with ease. For example, this simple camera sweep of a cell phone really comes to life when the display is lit and vibrant. And that rendering took less than 10 minutes to set up. I often refer to Visualize as another member of your team because it really does feel that way sometimes. You give it a little bit of direction, let it go to work, and it always comes back with something amazing. This year, I think that team member must have gone back to school because it's sharper and more effective than ever before.
All right, Jess, those are some really good enhancements. Sketching and Visualize are two of our favorite things. So can you actually pick out like one or two favorites, or are you just going to pick out all of them?
No, I clearly got the best section, and that's that. I would have a hard time picking. I mean, Visualize got so many enhancements here. The denoiser is awesome. Even just the tree enhancements are super convenient. The physics in Visualize Pro, so cool. honestly, sketching, just the little one with the trim tool. Again, we just said it the other day. The little things are sometimes the biggest ones, and I'm really excited about that. So what do we got coming up next week?
Next week, so we're going to start off our Monday right with a little bit of simulation and a little bit of composer. So
Nice.
see you guys on Monday.